Are you setting growth goals for your business that simply lead nowhere? You're not alone. Studies have shown that 80% of businesses struggle to achieve their targets because simply they're setting the wrong goals, but also in the wrong way. By the end of this video, you'll have a practical framework to create growth goals that don't just sound good, but actually brings real results for your small business. Today, we are discussing business growth goals that actually make sense because, let's face it, there is a big difference between wishful thinking from one side and strategic planning on the other side. Growth goals are the compass that guides your business decisions, your resource allocation, and team efforts. When done right, they simply can transform unclear aspirations like increased sales into actionable roadmaps that align everyone in your organization. As George Doran, the creator of the SMART framework, said, the establishment of objectives and at the same time the development of their respective action plans are the most critical steps in a company's management process. But on the other side, many businesses either avoid setting formal goals altogether or create targets that sound impressive but at the same time lack substance. In the next few minutes, I'll show you how to create growth goals that are both ambitious from one side and achievable, the kind that motivate your team and drive meaningful results. So let's get started. First, I will talk about requirements, because before we dive into the how-to, let's discuss much more about what you'll need to implement effective growth goals. The first thing that you'll need is a goal-setting framework. In this video, we'll cover both the SMART methodology and OKRs, or objectives and key results, that are two powerful frameworks used by companies from startups to the biggest tech giants today. Second, you'll need a commitment to regular progress review as well as weekly or monthly check-ins to keep goals on track. And finally, you will need a growth mindset. Be prepared to adjust your goals as market conditions change, that is normal, and new data appear. The most successful businesses view their goals as living documents, not static or set it and forget it proclamations. Now let's break down how to set business growth goals that actually drive results. We will start with the first step, and it is assess your current position. Before looking forward, and the goals are for the future, take time to analyze where you are now, and this means analyze your current performance metrics, including revenue, market share, customer satisfaction, and operational efficiency. Simply identify both your strengths to leverage and weaknesses to address. The second step is to choose the right framework. For most businesses, I recommend using SMART goals or OKRs. The SMART framework ensures your goals are specific, as a first measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's take one example. If you want to increase sales, instead of saying increase sales as a goal, your SMART goal would be increase second quarter sales by 15% by upselling existing clients and expanding into 2 new market segments by December 31st next year. As you can see, this goal is specific because it targets a particular quarter, measurable because it has a clear target, 15% increase, and achievable because it builds on existing strategies. Relevant because it simply aligns with your overall business objectives, market expansion for example. And at the same time they have time bound because it has a clear deadline, December 31st next year. On the other side, when you talk about OKRs, they are similar but simply work differently. They pair an inspiring objective with 3 to 5 measurable key results. This framework helps connect an ambitious vision that is inside an objective with simply concrete metrics. For example, the objective might be dominate the local market with key results like increase market share from 50% to 25% and achieve 90% brand recognition in a customer service. In this case of OKRs, the goal is to increase market share and brand recognition, which are both measurable, and directly tied to the broader objective of dominating the local market. The third step is to set goals across key business areas. Don't just focus on revenue. Set balanced goals across several ideas. First, it is financial growth. For example, increase profit margins by 8% or 5% through increasing operational efficiencies. There is secondary customer expansion, like reduce customer churn rate from 50% to 7% by implementing loyalty programs. Then we can have operational improvements to reduce operational cost by 15% through, let's say, automating specific processes and eliminating real causes of the problems into the operations. Then team development, improve employee engagement score, let's say from 69 to 79 or 80%. Innovation, launch new 2 product lines generating $100,000 in new revenue. As you can see, when you set goals across these all areas, you ensure a well-rounded approach to business growth that simply addresses all critical aspects for achieving your main goal to increase sales by 15% in this case. The fourth step here is to break down goals into quarterly milestones. Annual goals often feel distant and abstract, so break them into quarterly targets to create a higher level of urgency and allow for a regular progress check. The fifth step here is to assign clear ownership. Simply, every goal needs an owner who's responsible for driving progress and reporting results. Without ownership, goals become simply organizational orphans that no one prioritizes. The sixth step is to connect goals to your daily work. The most common reason goals fail is disconnection from daily operations. Simply map specific projects and tasks to each goal so your team members understand how their work contributes to the bigger picture. Let's see how this works in practice with a real-world example. Imagine, let's say, marketing agency looking to grow in 2025. Following our framework we are talking about previously, they might set following goals. First, financial goal. Let's say increase annual revenue by 30% from $1.2 to $1.56 million until December 31st, 2025. Now, for the first quarter, milestone can be secure 3 new clients worth $20,000 each. Milestone for the second quarter can be upsell existing clients by 15%. Owner here will be director of sales, and connected work will be let's say weekly prospecting, monthly client reviews, and so on. The second is related to customer goals. First, let's say improve client retention from 70% to 90% by implementing a structured account management process. So now for the first quarter milestone, we can say develop client success playbook, and for the second quarter milestone, train all account managers. The owner here will be head of client services, and connected work will be weekly client satisfaction check-ins. This approach ensures their goals are specific, first, measurable second, and broken down into actionable steps with clear accountability. Exactly what makes growth goals work in the real world. Let me share some practices that separate successful goal setters from the rest. First, physically write your goals down. Simply write them down, because studies show that goals committed to paper are 42% more likely to be achieved than those that simply remains like a thoughts. If I look back, not in years, but in the last month, for example, or several months, I can see that many of my thoughts and ideas simply have disappeared. But the goals that I wrote down are still there, guiding my actions. So use some dedicated platform where goals remain visible to everyone or all your team members. Second, create mini goals alongside your major targets. These small wins simply build momentum and keep motivation high during longer pursuit periods. For example, if your goal is to expand into international markets, a mini goal could be, let's say, to secure a partnership with a local distributor first in a specific country by the end of the quarter. Third, build accountability through regular goal reviews. Simply schedule weekly or monthly check-ins to assess progress and address obstacles before they destroy your plans. Fourth, use visual tracking. There are some tools like Goalscape, for example, that offer visual graphs that are shaped in as goals approach completion, making progress much more tangible that you can see and your team member will see. Finally, ensure goals are actually achievable. Challenging is good. Impossible is discouraging. If you are consistently missing targets, you are either setting unrealistic goals or facing execution problems that really need addressing them. Even with perfect planning, you'll face obstacles. Here is how to overcome the most common goal settings pitfalls or obstacles or challenges. The first problem is that if you have goals that lack clarity. The solution here will be to return to the SMART framework. If anyone on your team needs to ask what exactly does success look like, it means that your goal isn't specific enough. The second problem is when goals are simply disconnected from your strategic vision. The solution here will be to conduct a SWOT analysis, where you will analyze strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to ensure your goals align with your market reality and your company vision. The third problem is lack of resources to achieve your goals. One solution here is either to adjust your goals to match your available resources or develop a clear plan to acquire the necessary resources before committing to ambitious targets inside your goals. The fourth problem is related to growth that's too slow compared to competitors. As a solution, you can consider external growth strategies like strategic partnerships or acquisitions if simply organic growth isn't following the current market dynamics. The fifth problem can be team disengagement from goals. And one solution I always propose is to involve team members in the goal setting process, because when people help create goals, they are more invested in achieving them. Let's now recap what we've already covered about creating business growth goals that actually make sense. We've learned first that effective goals need a structure, either through the SMART framework or OKRs, and they need to be broken down into manageable quarters with clear ownership. We've seen that goals should simply extend beyond just financial metrics to cover customer experience. We also mention operations, team development, and innovation, all important aspects when it comes to business growth. And also we've discussed how to avoid common pitfalls that simply destroy even the best intentioned growth plans. Remember, the purpose of goals isn't just to hit numbers, it's to focus your organization's energy, ensure everyone is pulling in the same direction, and create a roadmap for sustainable growth. There is one saying that some people attributed to Peter Drucker that said, what gets measured gets managed. By setting clear, measurable goals and tracking them consistently, you are significantly increasing your chances of business success and business success in the future. Now it's your turn. Take 30 minutes this week to simply draft at least 3 growth goals using the frameworks we've discussed. Drop a comment below sharing your number 1 goal or any questions you have about the process. And also, if you want, subscribe for more practical business growth strategies.